Hey all! Amanda here with your recap for Night 4 of the qualifying rounds of American Ninja Warrior Season 13. As always, it was an incredible episode with all the usual suspects advancing, but for as great a show as it is, the choices in editing are always so disappointing to me. I hate to keep harping on the subject, but when the show begins by pushing the power of teamwork, only to later digest half the pairs highlighted, I have to shake my head. Of course, I think each episode should be twice as long, so we can see everyone's runs, but then again, I get really into the show. I think a lot of viewers feel the same way as I do, and I'll speak more on this throughout the recap, but when it's all said and done, I still love this show and their entire ninja community, and I'm glad to have something positive to see on TV. The course was the same as predicted, and for a full description of how each obstacle works and how athletes must maneuver through them, you can check out my prediction video for episode 4. Briefly, we started as always with the shrinking steps. That was followed by the all-new double down, and our split decision was between the log runner or block run. Either led to air surfer, which returned from episode 3, as well as the pretzel twist. Ninjas then had their choice between the 14.5-foot warped wall or try for $10,000 by taking one attempt up the 18-foot mega wall. Only the top 30 athletes advanced to the semifinals, and if 5 women are not in that list, the 5 females that go the furthest the fastest also advance. We had 77 runs in total, 46 of which were shown to some degree, and 31 runs cut in full. And our first runner of the night was 6'5", father of 4, Stephen Edwards. It looks like Stephen may have debuted Season 9, where he went out on the second obstacle, and may have been invited back for Season 12 before modifications had to be made. He tried to put himself in gear at the start, then started goofing off for his kids while making a split decision. He chose the log runner and fell on the second log. He tried to steady himself, but got rolled back off the 4th log into the water. Next was 15-year-old rookie Addie Herman. She trains with Taylor Johnson, who is taking part in her 3rd season this year. It sounds like she was on American Ninja Warrior Junior when she was 13, and her younger brother Jacoby will be on Season 3 of the Juniors this September. Addie was a little wobbly up the shrinking steps, but had perfect dismount for double down, and barely moved the logs on log runner. She landed a little sideways on the second step of air surfer, but powered through the rest, making it to pretzel twist. She turned herself backwards to kip the first pretzel off its hook, but struggled to do so, and it looked like the pretzel came loose when she wasn't expecting it. She was able to keep the presence of mind to steady herself in a dead hang before building momentum to lock the first pretzel into place. She just grabbed the second pretzel, but her hand slipped off, and she was unable to hold on to the backswing, and fell. However, she did get there fast enough to take 16th place overall, and 2nd place amongst the women's board. I was sad when she fell. She's already likable. In our first digested section, the show paired 2 Orthodox Jewish runners together. First up was 19-year-old rookie Zach Eckenstein, who looked a little unsteady through double down, from what we were shown, and tripped on the 3rd log of log runner, and spun out on the 4th log, ending his season. Then was Jesse Orenshine, who returned for his 3rd season, where he looked fast up the shrinking steps, but then did a 360 backflip off the first handle of double down when he landed at the bottom of the first track. He was able to land on his feet, though. Our next full run was less than a fraction of the time we spent watching her promo. Boxer and rookie to ninja, Melissa St. Deville made her ninja debut, but if you blinked, you'd miss it. The show first decided to remind us all of the previous female boxers they've had on the show, and that they all went out on the first obstacle. I like that they illustrate that ninja competition is a skill of its own, and that not every other athlete can do it, but this is exactly why athletes that have dedicated their lives to training for ninja are being cut show after show. Even my mom commented that the show was never this bad with the time wasters as it is now. We are all feeling it, and it makes me sad. Maybe the semifinals will provide some redemption for the show. Regardless, Melissa had a nice little dance to warm herself up, and if I followed boxing, I would probably cheer for her. As for being a ninja, after she wobbled up the shrinking steps, she slid down the rope and into the water. Luckily, we had some light classical music to calm us down from whatever that was, when Gwen Chi and friend, fellow MIT student, musician, and ninja, Daniel Sun, appeared with instruments to ease us into Guan's run. He looked strong through double down, and so fast across log runner, he jumped over the last log completely. He landed a little uneven on the second step of Air Surfer and made the correction, but wiped out trying to land the third step and was out. Then, in an even quicker and unexpected digested run, while the hosts were telling us about the obstacle course design winner, 15-year-old Jenny Bensley, who created the Air Surfer, Connor Galvin, who debuted season 11, where he went up against Dave Cavanaugh in the Power Tower, was shown failing the Air Surfer. Connor was invited to take part in season 12 before modifications were made, and was able to test last year's course, and was invited back to the show this year, only to have his run barely shown. They didn't even fix the audio edit later in the night, where when we returned from a break, Zuri said only 17 athletes had run so far, when it would have actually been 18, if they had have included this run, which clearly they didn't, but I'm going to count all the runs. Next was Dale Webb, whose run was also digested. Seriously, if you blink during the show, you're going to miss something. Dale is a bodybuilder, vegan, and rookie to the show. He was unsteady up the shrinking steps, and his hands gave out after he grabbed the second handle on Double Down. Rachel DeGetz is a teacher and rookie, and her debut run was digested. From what little we saw, she looked fast and steady through Log Runner and Air Surfer, but her hands gave out before she could make the first transfer between pretzels. She did make it there fast enough to take 29th place overall, 5th amongst the women. Then, rookie and friend of previous runner Guan Chi ran, but Danielson had his debut digested as well. He missed grabbing the second handle on Double Down when his lache was too short. Our next full run was 17-year-old rookie Jay Lewis. Known as Jay Lachey, Jay has competed with friend and partner Blake Firo in American Ninja Warrior Jr. and is coached by Joe Moravsky. Jay has been competing in ninja competitions since he was 10 and living up to his name, almost overshooting the lache on Double Down. He had a slight stumble halfway across Log Runner, but was fast and confident all the way through. He made me nervous through Air Surfer, but flew through the obstacle so fast, he fist pumped during his dismount. He made Pretzel Twist look effortless, and I had hoped he would hit the mega wall, but he came up just short. He was able to hit his first buzzer, with a time of 2:37.64, taking 7th place on the leaderboards. Unfortunately, after all that hype, Jay's friend, 16-year-old Blake Firo, had his rookie run digested. Blake also appeared on American Ninja Warrior Jr. and looked great through the first 3 obstacles, from what we were shown, but overshot the third step on Air Surfer, ending his season. Disappointingly, he did not make it far enough fast enough to advance, and we'll have to hope to see him come back next year. 54-year-old Carolyn Lee, who made her debut season 3, returned after a 10-year absence while dealing with breast cancer. Season 3, she went in on the second obstacle, and Monday, history repeated itself when she lost her grip sliding down the first track of Double Down. Judas Licadello returned for his 4th season, only to have his run digested. He made it to Stage 1 of the Vegas Finals 2 of his 3 previous years, but was not invited to take part in Season 12. Monday, he looked uneven on his dismount from Double Down, and almost wiped out on Log Runner, but was able to roll from the last log to the landing platform for the save. You cannot use your hands to reach out and pull yourself from the last log to the landing platform. Judas made it to the Pretzel Twist, but was unable to make the first transfer. He took 28th place overall. Paul Fisher and friend Ivan King left the Amish community together, and their common interests led them to ninja competition. Both carpenters ran their first course tonight, and Paul was up first. He was solid through the start of the course, and scared me when he considered block run. He made the right decision by reconsidering, and jumped the last log on Log Runner. He landed uneven twice on Air Surfer, but was so happy to make it through, he did a sloppy handstand, and fell sideways into the springboard. He seemed okay though, and was almost through Pretzel Twist, but he was unable to grab the last pretzel, and could not hold on to the backswing caused by the miss, and flew back into the wall. He did make it there fast enough to take 26th place overall, and is heading to the semifinals. And for a show that started the episode, talking about the value of partnership, Paul's fellow former Amish friend, Ivan King, had his rookie run digested. He was fast through the first 3 obstacles, from what we were shown, but just edged himself off the last step of Air Surfer before he could dismount. Unfortunately, he will not be advancing. LGBTQ advocate Casey Rothschild returned for her 3rd season and had her run digested. Casey was the youngest woman to ever hit a buzzer at 19 years of age, season 10. She was invited back last year, but did not attend due to modifications being made. She rolled off the last log onto the platform and made it to the first pretzel and pretzel twist, but was unable to hold on. She did make it there fast enough to take 27th position overall, 4th amongst the women advancing. Dr. Stuart Mahler was next to have his run digested. He was wobbly up the shrinking steps and decided on the log runner for his split decision, but landed hard on the last log and spun into the water. It was at this point my paranoia started acting up. As I had predicted, not many athletes attempted block run to this point, from what we were shown anyway, but Zuri pointed out that you may actually have a better chance by going that route. She pointed out that block run had only taken out 28% of competitors, where the log runner had taken out 40%. I have to wonder where those numbers come from, though. If less people chose block run, obviously the fail rate is less. Even my boyfriend pointed out that all you have to do on block run is stay in line with the main axis, and you should land near the top every time, or at least still have enough balanced momentum to make it to the other side. I still have my doubts. Our next full run was from 5'2" gnarly ninja Nate HANSEN. Nate debuted last year, where he discussed his growth hormone deficiency before going on to hit his first buzzer. Hoping to inspire other youngsters with the same condition, Nate returned and again ripped up the course. He looked calm and controlled through the first 3 obstacles and stuck a shaky transfer on air surfer, but sailed through the rest of the course. He took a top time, for the moment, hitting a second buzzer at a time of 2:03.53, taking 4th spot on the leaderboards. Nate is such a likable ninja and such a joy to watch. Up next was an interesting surprise and a major disappointment. With the theme of friendship and teamwork in mind, it was announced that Adam Rail and Sean Bryan are now roommates and training partners. I didn't see that coming, but I really do like that pairing. However, I didn't like the fact that 2 of the best athletes in the field both had their runs digested. Adam Rail returned for his 6th season, having made it to the Vegas finals every year. We barely saw anything, but he came up just short on his mega wall attempt, but was still able to hit a buzzer with a time of 3:21.44, taking 10th place. Sean Bryan also returned for his 6th season, and although we only saw brief highlights, it looked like a crazy run. Sean somersaulted from the dismount off double down and jumped the last log on log runner. He landed hard on his butt on the rotating wall when dismounting from pretzel twist, but was still fast enough to overtake the top time temporarily, hitting a buzzer at a time of 1:54.38, taking 2nd spot overall. So much for my prediction of a nice redemption story. A rookie run that we did see in full was that of former footballer Andrew East and husband of former Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson. Matt and Akbar will be hosting the Olympics, and I have a feeling it'll be pushing back our semifinal rounds in late July. So to promote the games, we got to watch Andrew make his way through the first few obstacles. When he considered block run, I felt like Shawn looked, and at her suggestion, he reconsidered and flew across the log runner. Unfortunately, he positioned his surfboard too unevenly on his first transfer on air surfer and fell between the edges, hitting the water. He did better than other former footballers, but I doubt we'll ever see him on the show again. Anthony EARDLEY returned for his 3rd season and had his run digested. From what we were shown, he almost tripped across log runner, but looked solid across air surfer. He was trying to get a better grip on the second pretzel to make his last transfer on pretzel twist, but his hands gave way, spinning the pretzel and spinning him into the water. He did make it there fast enough to take 25th spot on the leaderboards. And an important partner featured earlier in the show, 4'11" Tyler Johnson was next to have her run digested. Taylor returned for her 3rd season and was yet another ninja chanting "Let's go" throughout her run. She looked strong up until air surfer, where she was a little too strong and bounced herself off the 2nd step after a hard landing. Unfortunately, she will not be advancing to the semifinals. I had high hopes for her too. And our last adjusted run for this section was former lacrosse star Rob Pennell. The breakdown of all his accomplishments took longer than his run lasted, where his fingertips slid off the second handle after he attempted the lâché on double down. Abby Clark returned for her 4th season, though she had been invited back last year before modifications had to be made. Her boyfriend and fellow ninja, Joe Capobianco, was on screen cheering her on, having not been invited back himself. Abby was fast through the first 3 obstacles, but landed on her knees after completing log runner. She was strong through air surfer, and after a lengthy struggle to lock the second pretzel into position, her hands gave out and she hit the water. She was able to go far enough fast enough to take 22nd spot on the leaderboards and 3rd amongst the women. Darius Moore is a demolition company owner whose debut run was digested. He could not grab the second handle after the last SHAWN Double Down. Next, I could not express my upset and disgust when I saw two of the very few OG ninjas left in the show have their runs digested. Brian Kretsch, who has competed in every season of this show, had his run barely shown when they reminded us to the fact that Brian had broken his leg season 7 on a balance obstacle right before we saw him overcome Log Runner. Talk about skipping a story of redemption. He became slightly emotional, but powered through Pretzel Twist, where after his hands gave out on the last transfer, he blamed his gluten-free diet. Luckily, he was able to hang on to 30th position, and I hope he not only does well in the semifinals, but that we get to see his run in full too. I'd also be curious to find out what caused his black eyes. Then, it was the Godfather, David Campbell's turn to be digested. Jessie Graff was shown on screen cheering him on, but there was no mention of her not competing this season due to injury. Returning for his 13th season, we were shown quick glimpses of David flying through the course. He had an unfortunate landing when he inadvertently did the splits on the rotating wall after dismounting Pretzel Twist. He managed to regain his composure, but it may have been a factor in him missing the mega wall. David was able to hit a buzzer at a time of 4:30.12, taking 11th spot overall. Again, I hope he does amazingly in the semifinals, and that we get to see his full run. These are the ninjas our young teens grew up watching. It would be nice if they were treated with some more respect. And speaking of teens, 15-year-old rookie Caden Mazdalin was our next full run. Caden had previously competed on American Ninja Warrior Jr., and we saw a lengthy backstory on how the show saved the relationship between him and his father. Caden was fluid throughout the entire course, making the last SHAWN Double Down in one move. He barely moved the logs on Log Runner, and hit every landing perfectly on Air Surfer. He grabbed the last pretzel on his first swing, and was able to just get his fingers on the edge of the mega wall, but missed. He did hit a buzzer at a time of 2:34.35, taking 6th place. TAGE HERRINGTON was one of the breakout stars last year for his debut, but this year had his run digested. 20-year-old Ninja Blue had his 12 siblings cheering him on as he looked to be flying throughout the course. He was just able to get his fingertips on the edge of the mega wall, but could not hold on. He was able to hit a buzzer at a time of 3:11.82, taking 9th place. He was such a joy to watch last year. I hope he does well in the semifinals, and that we get to see his run in full. Brandon Richards looks to be a rookie who almost got his foot caught between the end of the last track and the handle on Double Down, but managed to hang on. He made it to Air Surfer, but positioned the bar unevenly and could not stick the landing to the second step. And although his name sounds familiar, I believe Adam NASSER may be a rookie. He almost missed the landing after swinging from the rope at the end of the shrinking steps, but took a second swing and made it. He then landed hard on the last log of Log Runner and twisted for almost a minute, but again managed to leap across. He got as far as unhooking the first pretzel on Pretzel Twist before his grip gave out. It actually looked like a pretty fun run to have seen. Quinn Nguyen was a 20-year-old rookie who flies drones using first-person perspective and flew us over the course. In my opinion, he was a little too powerful during his run when he slammed through Double Down, jerking himself on the landings. I was amazed he could hold on to the surfboard during all his aggressively hard landings, but he was able to make it to Pretzel Twist, where a big swing caused the unhooked first pretzel to hit the first hook again, and Quinn could not hold on to the backlash when it locked into place on the other side. He cartwheeled into the wall, then water, but made it there fast enough to take 23rd position. 8-time vet and Jake Murray's new partner in crime, Ethan Swanson, was next to run. He had a ton of friends on screen cheering for him, and it looks like almost all of them will be competing in episode 5. He made me nervous when I thought his hands were going to miss the handle after his last SHAWN Double Down, but I almost had a heart attack when I saw him choose block run. This was the first athlete we saw to try this obstacle tonight, and though I wanted to see someone run it perfectly, I didn't want it to be such a big name. Ethan was flawless though, and kept a strong pace up through Air Surfer. He was methodical through Pretzel Run, which may have cost him the few extra seconds he needed, as he passed up his attempt for the mega wall to try to take the fastest time of the night. He was able to hit a buzzer with an incredible time of 1:56.63, but was just a few seconds behind Sean Bryan and landed 3rd spot on the leaderboards. He was happy, as was I. I predict great runs to come from him. Matt Brady is a 19-year-old rookie who had his debut digested after he dedicated his run to his mom for her birthday. He looked solid from what little we were shown, and was able to hit his first buzzer with a time of 2:19.27, taking 5th place. Austin Gray was last year's overall runner-up and returned for his 4th season, just to be digested. He's such a likable ninja, it's just such a shame to see. He looked to be making great time, flying through the course, but his right hand just slipped off the first pretzel on pretzel twist during the backlash of locking it in, and he fell into the water. He was disappointed not to hit a buzzer, but did take 14th place on the leaderboards. And one of the greats, ALLYSSA BEIRD, was next to have her run digested after returning for her 6th season. I figured we would see her run in full and her mother Daria's run digested, but instead ALLYSSA's run was digested and Daria's was completely cut from the show. She started the run by blowing a kiss to boyfriend James McGrath, who was watching from home after having not been invited back this season. Regardless, ALLYSSA looked to be having a ton of fun on the course, and though she wobbled a cross-block run, she made it through as I held my breath. She made it to pretzel twist, but lost her grip on the first pretzel and was on the bubble of qualifying. Unfortunately for ALLYSSA, the only woman left to run was Meagan Martin. Meagan returned for her 8th season and was returning as the queen. Her new status as fiancée must really be working for her because she has been more calm, confident, and is having more fun on the course since her engagement than I've seen from her in years. She won it all in the first ever women's championship competition, and Monday, she didn't show any signs of slowing. Meagan had a slight stumble as she stepped down during her entrance and took her time during double down. I was nervous when she landed unevenly on the second step of air surfer, even though I knew she made it through. Meagan was the sneak peek run, but it cut off after she landed air surfer. Now I know why. Not only was it a great cliffhanger, as no woman to this point has been able to complete this new obstacle, but now we know that ALLYSSA BEIRD is on the bubble, and that her time to the 5th event was faster than Meagan's. So now, either Meagan fails and ends her season, or she succeeds and not only becomes the first woman through pretzel twist, but also ends ALLYSSA's season. Either way, we were going to lose a tremendous female athlete, but the queen prevailed and became the only woman this season, so far, to complete the course and hit a buzzer. She took 13th place on the leaderboards, top spot on the women's board, and made it there in a time of 5:56.49. She had just come from work, was tired, and had hurt her ankle a little during her stumble at the start, and became emotional, but Meagan is looking stronger than ever, and I cannot wait to see her at the semifinals. This is now the second time this season, and only the second time in history, the top 5 women advancing are all in the top 30. As a side note, Meagan was also selected to announce the debut of rock climbing in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, happening in a few weeks, and in a total coincidence, I happened to see a commercial advertising some Olympians headed to Tokyo when I noticed a familiar name. Shawn McCall, who represented Team Europe in the first 3 American Ninja Warrior US vs. the World Specials after moving to France from Canada. Well, apparently he's back home and will be representing my country this summer, as if I needed another excuse to cheer for him. I'm now very curious to see what other rock climbers we might recognize from ninja competition. And in our last digested section of the night, first up we had Ben Eddy, who runs under the name Chad Flexington. He looked to be making good time, from what little we saw, and wrote himself a check if he could hit the mega wall. Unfortunately, his hand slipped off the second pretzel, but he managed to hold on to 18th spot, sending him to the semifinals. Luke Dillon is a 19-year-old college student and rookie. He looked to be making good time on the course, and although it was not shown, rumor has it he may have attempted the mega wall and failed before hitting his first buzzer at a time of 4:45 even. He took 12th spot. Jonah Munoz is another 19-year-old rookie who lives with fellow ninjas Nate Hansen and Austin Gray. His debut run was digested, but considering he yells, "Woo!" every time he completes an obstacle and encourages others to join in, I was not too upset by this call. He was able to hit his first buzzer in a time of 2:46.35, taking 8th place. And our last full run was Jake Murray, who returned for his 7th season. Always a joy to watch, Jake made me nervous when he seemed to be struggling to lock the double down tracks into place. He did make it through, and took no breaks running across Log Runner, and was killing it for the fastest time when he made it to Air Surfer. Again, I got nervous when he jumped from the second to the last pretzel, leaving the second pretzel spinning, but he made it through, and flew up the warped wall, taking the fastest time of the night at 1:47.20, and first place on the leaderboards. When Akbar teased him about being a bad roommate, by beating Ethan's time, Jake slid down the mega wall and ran to his friend. They played around, but ended in a hug, leaving a great feeling for all as we ended the show. However, the show didn't end there. As usual, we had Akbar's picks of cut runs to be highlighted and had Aubrey Marie, a yoga teacher who debuted in season 11, where she went down on the second obstacle. Monday, history repeated itself when her hands gave out after traveling down the first track of Double Down. Brian Mendez, who looked to be a rookie, and positioned the surfboard unevenly, causing him to miss the landing on the second step of Air Surfer. John Huey is a music teacher who was invited to take part last season by fellow teacher ALLYSSA BEIRD. He missed the lache on Double Down and hit the water. But of course, there was still more than that. Other athletes to have their runs cut, but who still advanced include Devin Alexander, a teen rookie that looks to have made it to the finals in American Ninja Warrior Jr. Season 2. Monday, he was able to make it to pretzel twist fast enough to take 15th place on the leaderboards. The Speedo Ninja Mike Wright returned for his 5th season and made it to pretzel twist fast enough to take 17th spot. John Unga debuted in Season 10, where his qualifying run and city finals run were both cut from the show. His return Monday night was no different, where he made it to the pretzel twist fast enough to take 19th spot. Alex Bagali is a rookie from RV Fitness Yoga Studio who made it to pretzel twist fast enough to take 20th position. Logan Krieglow returned for his 3rd season, having to miss out last year due to modifications being made. All of his previous qualifying runs have been cut, and Monday was no different. He made it to pretzel twist, taking 21st position. Luciano Acuna Jr. returned for his 3rd season after a 6-year absence. He's a stuntman and actor from New York and made it to pretzel twist fast enough to take 24th place on the leaderboards. But wait, there's more. Other runs that were cut in full include Adam Kaczynski, who was hoping 3 times would be a charm. Adam was selected to compete 2 years ago, but tore his Achilles practicing the mega wall the night before and had to withdraw. He was set to take part in Season 12, but due to modifications being made, had to miss out again. Monday, his debut run was cut in full, when it sounds like his hands peeled off the second handle on Double Down, as he admitted on social media that he should have used the switch grip. Angela Gargano is a gym owner who returned for her 4th season. She debuted Season 7, then took 2 years off, only to tear her ACL upon return Season 10. She was forced to withdraw, even though she advanced to the city finals. Monday, she went out on Double Down. Cheyenne Arrington returned for her 2nd year, having debuted Season 11. Representing Paradise, California, Monday, she went out on Double Down. Craig Stowell returned for his 3rd season, though he was invited back last year before modifications were made. He's a car dealer who wears patriotic outfits during his run, and Monday, he went out on Air Surfer. Alyssa's mom, Daria Beard, returned for her 3rd season and had her run cut yet again. Daria is one of the oldest females who participates on the show, and Monday, she went out on Double Down. Desmond Odom may have debuted Season 6 after he came back from being unemployed and living in his car at over 300 pounds. He lost over 100 pounds and found Ninja. He was a course tester in seasons past and was invited to take part last year before modifications had to be made. Monday, he made it to Double Down. I was unable to find much info on Ellie Hunt, but I think this might have been Melanie Hunt, who competed from seasons 4 to 8, as well as Team Ninja Warrior, where she competed on Thomas Stilling's team. Monday, she went out on Double Down. Evan McGowan looks to be a 21-year-old rookie who applied to be on Season 12 before modifications had to be made. He seemed very likable on his audition tape, but was out on Double Down. I was unable to find any info on George Antonio, but he went out on Double Down. I was unable to find much info on Guido DiStefano, but he may have debuted Season 11, and Monday, he went out on Log Runner. Heather Petty is a biotech entrepreneur, helping bring new treatments to patients and raising awareness for rare diseases. She may also be a rookie, and went out on the Shrinking Steps. I was unable to find any info on Jane Greenbaum, but she went out on Double Down. 19-year-old Jen Stefano and her 20-year-old boyfriend Ryan Sanders are both rookies invited to take part this season, though her debut run was cut. She went out on Double Down, and I have no idea what happened to Ryan's run. Maybe it'll get cut episode 5? John Applewhite Jr. may be a rookie and owns a nutrition and fitness website. Monday, he went out on Double Down. Josh Scherber debuted in Season 10, where his run was cut, and returned Season 11, where his run was cut. He was invited to return last year, before modifications had to be made, and Monday, his run was cut yet again, when he went out on the shrinking steps. Joshua Vigo debuted Season 10, and returned Monday night, where his run was cut, when he fell on Air Surfer. Kevin Liang is a financial planner who debuted Season 10. He returned Season 11 and was invited back Season 12 before modifications had to be made. Monday, he went out on Double Down. I was unable to find a lot on Kyle Voorhees, but he looks to be a rookie and went out on Double Down. Maria Victoria Darrell is a holistic wellness coach and rookie. Monday, she went out on Double Down. Matthew Gardo made his debut Season 9 at 54 years of age. He was rumored to have been invited back last year before modifications had to be made, and Monday, he went out on the shrinking steps. I was unable to find much info on Mike Brecko, but it looks like he was invited to compete Season 12, but I'm not 100% sure on whether he competed or not. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not sure. Monday, he went out on Double Down. Sophia Beaulieu may be 16, as she participated in the premiere season of American Ninja Warrior Jr. when she was 13. Monday, she went out on Double Down. I wasn't able to find much on Tommy Wright, but it looks like he tried his luck in the walk-on lottery Season 11 and applied Season 12 before modifications had to be made. Monday, his debut was cut when he went out on Double Down. I was unable to find much info on Troy Helming, but it looks like he debuted Season 10 and was invited back Season 12, but I'm not sure if he competed once modifications had to be made. Monday, he went out on Air Surfer. And our last cut run may be one of the biggest mysteries I've hit so far this season. Verdale Benson is a physical assistant and former Army medic who returned for his 4th season. The results reported that he made it to the log runner, but that he was disqualified rather than having fallen. At first, I assumed he must have tripped on one of the last few logs and dragged himself to the landing using his hands, which apparently is not allowed. However, when I looked for more detailed results, again, it confirmed Verdale was disqualified on the log runner, but that the reason for the DQ was due to him not standing up when completing the obstacle, which apparently is not allowed either. I thought this was so bizarre that I could not wrap my head around it. So I went in search of Verdale's personal social media, and that's when the story got even more interesting. According to a post made by him on his Instagram account, he claimed he actually suffered a complete Achilles tendon rupture while attempting the mega wall at the end of his run. He then went on to say he attempted to scale the regular warped wall, but of course couldn't, and chose to limp off the course under his own power. He claims he did qualify, but obviously had to withdraw. If he did make it to the warped walls and fail, he still should have been about 14th spot on the leaderboard. I have no idea what to think now, but I tend to believe Verdale, not only due to the fact that he showed us video proof of himself at the hospital with his ankle in various states of repair, but that we all know, for a fact, that this show has no problem lying to us to cover up whatever they want for whatever reasons they make up. This show does unfortunately come with risks, and athletes do get injured, so I really have to wonder, what was the purpose of covering this up? If anyone out there has any theories on Verdale's run, please feel free to leave your comments below. And on that note, there are all 77 runs and results. We're down to our last qualifying episode before we head to the semifinals, and I can't wait. We've seen a ton of big names already, so I'm dying to see what they have in store for us to finish off our preliminary runs. I'm still calling Flip Rodriguez as Run of the Night Episode 5 with the Mega Wall win to boot. Let us know what you think of the season so far, and what you're hoping to see in the future, and of course, who you'll be cheering for to take it all Season 13 as our next American Ninja Warrior. Check out new episodes every Monday night on NBC. Check local listings for details. And until next time, enjoy the show!